Hey folks, George here from the Spacemen with Guns podcast. Going to do the first and what will hopefully be a weekly series in what I've got on the bench and what I'm working on towards the bout with the route. If you're not familiar with that, it's going to be Dave and myself in separate games on opposite sides of the globe taking on the route, who is playing his word bearers against our Ultramarines. So, this week's episode won't be so much about what I'm currently got on the bench as more about what I just recently acquired. Of course, currently on the bench is Rabute Gilliman and his boyfriend squad of suzerain. But yesterday, the owner of Arkham Games up in Ankeny, Iowa, a really cool dude named John, definitely go check out Arkham Games, had a miniature swap day. So for a couple hours, just any miniatures you had you wanted to get rid of, swap for another miniature or something, you could bring them in, and we just all kinds of trading going back and forth. You could buy store credit vouchers to give to someone to buy a miniature, so there wasn't any cash trading hands. You know, it was a good way for him to make some money, good way for people to get some new stuff. Well, I got something that I've been pining after for a while. It's not quite the way that I want it, but we'll make do because I didn't actually pay any money for it. I traded some stuff to a friend who had traded some stuff to somebody else to get it. There's kind of a story behind it, and there's kind of a little bit of shadiness involved on the part of the first people that brought it in, and I'll touch on that a little bit. I'm not going to mention any names, but yeah. So, without further ado, picked up a Caestus Assault Ram yesterday. Traded some Death Guard stuff and Age of Sigmar Khorne stuff for this bad boy. It was already assembled, already painted, so there's going to be a fair amount of work that needs to be done stripping the paint off this, and you can see here I've already got on that, taking a few parts off. You also might be able to see that the resin on the interior of those booms is not the right color resin. It's a recast. Not going to get into the whole recast thing. I'm going to still take it. I'm still going to make it as best as I can. Once I get the paint off, I'll really know what I'm in for. Already I found, a lot of build issues. I'm not really going to try and correct, just try and fix some visible seams with some putty and sanding, and a few other things I can actually fix. You might notice the doors are off. The doors were originally glued on. Sorry, here, I'll hold it up for you guys a little bit more. So I've got both doors. They're both actually missing one of the pins. You can also see the orientation. Those booms are not lined up. There's gaps, in the corners. One of the doors was completely cockeyed, and so I'm just going to glue them back on straight. Oh, it's hiding me. I want to paint the interior of one of these, and I want to light it. I want to put some LEDs in it. So I will end up getting another Caestus at some point. This one was just, I can't pass up this opportunity. The gentleman that traded it to my friend originally, yeah, this is really bad right here. It looks like they used hot glue. Had posted it on a local Facebook group for wargamers, and he was trying to, among another of other items, was trying to get $85 out of this. I call bullshit on that because this thing it's structurally sturdy. Okay? It's a recast. He knew it was a recast despite what he said because he got it from his friend who was with him. I'm not sure which one of them did this paint job, but I'm sorry guys, I don't normally talk down about other hobbyists, but this paint job is god-awful. The build quality on this is just god-awful. And there's some other stuff that they did that kind of pissed me off, and I'm not going to deal with those individuals again. The individual that had bought this originally said he bought it from Forge World. That was bullshit, and we now know it. Because my buddy scratched off this little bit of paint here, and then immediately passed on the model, knowing that it was a fake. I took it because I was able to get a good trade for it, and I can use it. So in addition to taking the doors off, started stripping the paint here on the prow with some rubbing alcohol. I have actually managed to take these dive brakes, air brakes, whatever you want to call them, off. They were glued together at the ends. I thought it looked bad. There was a gap. I thought there shouldn't have been a gap. Well, I just worked a little dental pick into there and started taking them apart, and they started coming out surprisingly in one piece. These things are completely intact, so I just need the paint stripped off. Then I can glue them back in. Excuse me, it goes on this side. And I'm definitely going to do them open because that'll look cool. Paint the interior like an insignia red color so that it kind of mimics a World War II dive bomber. So in that's going to be going on in the background for the next couple of weeks. It's going to take a while to get this paint stripped off. I've had good luck so far with just plain 70% rubbing alcohol. I could step it up to the 90% if I really want to get this thing cleaned off quickly. And there's at least 5 layers of paint on here. I found red, black, gray, silver, this pink color, which was just brushed on and all. Definitely a lot of stuff that I can do with this. I've noticed there's a lot of kind of like on the tips up here and then the tips of the wings, and there's some in here as well. Perfect for drilling out and putting lenses in, and I know I've got some already. I'd really like to drill those out and put some lenses in. I'm probably just going to leave them. There's multiple layers of paint on those as well. It's going to take a lot of time with a toothbrush and some rubbing alcohol to get this bad boy cleaned up until I get it down to bare resin, which is what I'm shooting for. If I can just get it down to this gray primer, I'd probably be okay, because I'm going to do a lot of sanding to fill some of these gaps and stuff. So far, the rubbing alcohol has not appeared to have any adverse effect on the resin, which I've never had happen before, but I've mostly used it on plastic. I've never had Windex have a problem with resin before. So far, no major issues. And if the rubbing alcohol starts taking apart the super glue, I'm not going to be too upset, because there's some more work. Then I can just rebuild the thing. I can rebuild it my way. And again, I was discussing this with a friend yesterday. It's just sort of an idiosyncrasy. I like things built my way. I like to buy things new, unbuilt, so then I can build them the way that I like them built. Because there's a lot of pinning involved, a lot of stuff to reinforce it and make sure things are structurally sound, which, I mean, there's virtually no play in these wings. These things are solid, you know? So at least that part the builder had going for him. But it's not going to be perfect. I know these things are kind of a challenge to build, but it is what it is. I'm going to take this, which was great deal, great timing, and make it do what I need to do. And then further on down the road, I'll buy the legit unbuilt one and do it the way that I want to do it. So this is going to be fun. It's a really cool model, and I think it's really going to be fun to run. I can't wait to get it painted up the way I want to and run some games with it. So that's going to be an ongoing project. So that one will definitely be back in future episodes. But to tide you guys over, here's Rabute Gilliman in his current state. The gold is finished, still a little touch up to do, and a few other details to work on, but my goal is to have him finished by the end of this week. So hopefully by the next episode, you will see him finished and on his base. So with that said, I think probably sometime potentially later this week, we'll see. It's Sunday tonight, so possibly by Friday, I'm hoping to maybe have it done. If not, well, I've got the rest of the weekend, and we'll get that done, and we'll move on to the next project. So hope you guys like this. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see in this series, and I will try to accommodate. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next time.